Welcome to VBIC news channel. We broadcast news in 3 dimensions, in 360-degree and 8K resolution. On this channel that we just switched on, you can see us in 360 panel. That means in 360 degrees still, but only in panorama. Again, you can watch the same news on our channel, VBIC.net. If you have a virtual reality headset in 3D, 360 and 8K, if you don't worry, you still can see it on our website in 2 dimensions, but still immersive in 360 degree, 8K if you provide us good enough, but at least in 4K. So it's your choice to follow us here or to switch over to VBIC.net and follow us immersive. We bring you disruptive news. What does that mean? We broadcast information that you cannot get anywhere else. Mainstream information does not tell you anything that we tell you. Also platform-related information, which mostly is dictated by the owner of the platform, is diminished by us. We broadcast facts, predictive analytics, and tell you how the day after tomorrow will look like so you can prepare for them today. So the current situation in Germany is one of these. Germany is experiencing a revolt. The farmers go on the street, they block autobahns, they block service routes, they create what you can see here, spectacles, and cause the attention of the average German. The average German who is blocked in his daily business life by not being able to drive to a job, not being able to get in time to a meeting, they are not angry, they applaud the farmers. And that is across the nation. So what we see, the actual events, has to be interpreted. What does that mean? If this is what the farmer do, and what we see is applauded by the average German John Doe on the street, what does that mean if this would be expressed in an election? So we talk about forecasting of events that will influence your day on the day after tomorrow, so you can prepare for them today. So what we look at are actually statistical information gathered by 9 very, very respected institutions. And we have selected these surveys because these institutions have at least participated in the 6 former elections. They did their predictive analytics by executing surveys, and the error margin for the numbers we look at based on that historical review is just between 0.3 and 1.3%. The numbers we discuss are therefore representing the today, not predictive. They are the numbers of today based on surveys. So let's have a look to them. What do they tell us? What do they say? So what you look at here right now is the black liners represent the ruling mid to right wing party in Germany called the CDU-CSU. And you see the blue one is a newcomer. It's called AfD, Alternative for Germany. So you see a clear uptrend, a significant uptrend. So the current revolt of the farmers and the applaud from the average John Doe seems to be there for a longer time. It just has been expressed now. The other parties are in a continuous downtrend. And you see for a longer time already. So even the black curve is currently having a downtrend. So let's look what that tells us. It tells us one thing immediately. there will be change. Now we look how drastically the change will be, and if it's happened, what does it mean? The slide that you see currently here, as more intense the color is, in this case a bluish, as more significant the changes, as more important the trends. So the green one on the right shows the result from the last election. The blue one is result of asking two questions. How would you decide for a federal election if this would happen now? How would you vote? And it does also answer the second question, how would you vote in a state election? So we look at an average between all of these questions. One thing is very clear. It's not only symptomatic, it does mirror the entire situation. Every state in Germany has a significant uptrend for the newcomer AfD. There's no doubt about it. The uptrend is very significant in the Eastern German states, which is the former German Democratic Republic, but also in the former federal Germany. It's everywhere. Not only in one place, it's everywhere. And it's everywhere, it's very, very significant. So currently, we see the numbers from January 11 and January 12, so they are very recent. And now we have a look, what would that mean if what we see today would become a reality on the day after tomorrow. If these numbers from today would represent the voting of these people, the result would be very clearly a 62.7 majority in the German Bundestag, which is the federal parliament. All other combinations are weak and unlikely to happen. That between the Green and the Socialist can a common consensus be achieved is very unlikely, and that a ruling party with just 50.6% can survive 4 years is also very unlikely as well. So if these numbers become a reality on the day after tomorrow, this is very likely the political landscape that we can expect to be there. So again, based on the numbers today, which are not predictive, we now can go in more detailed analysis for how the power structure then would look like. One more information in the German political landscape, it's not only the federal election that's important, it's also the different states, how they would elect. Here on this slide, you can see the results of the second question that had been answered. How would you decide in your state election if the election would be today? You see in all states, the gain is significant, which would result in a political power change in that state. And in some of them, this newcomer, the AfD, would be even in the majority, just picking their coalition partner, which would be then their choice, if they really need it. So the states in Germany that come together in the Bundesrat have a lot of power deciding about infrastructure, education. They have a large budget. So by looking at this trend situation, you see them everywhere, and the political power manifestation is not only in the federal parliament, it would be in the state parliament. So by looking at these, what would it mean if the farmer revolt would result in a voting decision, and if that voting decision would result in a power change, would it be just somewhere? No, according to these numbers, it would be everywhere in Germany. And for a long time, you vote in parliament for 4 years. So now we have a closer look to the program that this new power factor is proclaiming and publishing since 2016. In other words, there is no way a political leader of these parties, forget them or weaken them, they would be replaced by people. So, and I translate on the fly. So the political program of this party, which is binding to representative of this party, and which has been proclaimed and published since 2016 on a recurring basis, is very easy to understand because everyone can download them and read them. So if this party comes in power, they state very clearly, if we are not able to reform the current system in the EU, and it turns out that this is blocked and will not become reality, then we do everything that we can do, and they will be in power, so that Germany exits the European Union. Or that the entire European Union will be dissolved. And instead, a new organization will be built, which is just only an economic relationship between European states and countries, and again. So this is going to happen. This is in the program of the party, and that is what we are looking at. The reality will be at the day after tomorrow. So this is not a speculation. This is just a consequence that these people who then will be in power have to do to stay in power. So we put some figures out that you will potentially then see quite often. If these individuals then change, are replaced by others, it doesn't really matter. What you see on the left side is the party leader, who you see in the middle is the person who will make sure that this is proclaimed in the European Parliament, the European Parliament member. And on the right side, you see the rising star on the social media. So on social media, which is an important factor, as we all know, we also have this party acting quite impressive. Again, these are the current figures, and they can be replaced because the program is decisive, not the people. Germans don't vote people, don't elect people. Germans don't elect a person, they elect the Pope. Furthermore, besides the membership and Germans' exit out of the European Union, is the euro. So the second statement, again proclaimed since 2016, repeated every single year when the party meets on the Congress. It's always the same story, and translated on the fly. If AfD is part of the German government, then Germany has all rights to cancel the European Union, which is the euro, cancel the contracts. And they state very clearly that's even not difficult, because the highest German court already handled the case and said that's no problem legally because it's just a contract. And they state very clearly the exit of Germany from the euro is necessary, not only for national interest, because of national interest, but also in the interest of Europe. So by stating how the day after tomorrow political decision will look like in case this trend keeps on going, and will not be significantly changed on the day of the election. And this is what you can expect is on the agenda. Because we base everything we are telling you on numbers, let's now see if Germany says yes to this. Yes to the exit from the EU, yes to the exit from the euro, which everyone knows, if you put your check mark on the AfD and for their candidates, then this is what will happen. This is pretty clear. There's no doubt. So if Germany decides to bring that political party in power, then what you see today, what the farmers proclaim, enough is enough, is really a protest against too much regulation, too much demanding things that keeps a farmer from making a living, which is also an expression for a protest against the Green Party, against a decision to keep ecological, environmental factors as the most important decisive factors when you look at all the things that are important. It's also a decision for energy policy. So you can regard this maybe as the first attempt that in Germany change the decade-long decision. Environmental decisions are very important for us. They become at least second. Now let's see who is actually representing this trend. So we have to look at the generational aspect. Young people are mostly making up the membership of this party. So we talk about the younger generation. And that does include the people who are currently 30 years old or 40 years old. So by looking at these figures, again, they can change. It doesn't matter because the program has been published. We have to see that Austria is on the radar as well. What you can see here is the representative of the Austrian comparable party wing, so that Austria will follow the German policy in that case is also to be considered as a factor for the change. So Austrians and Germans, which make up the majority of the spoken language in Europe, will act conform. So by looking at these things, by looking at the generational aspect, you can expect that this trend will be carried on by a generation. So to make a summary of all these numbers, what can be expected, and you see it on that slide, is that the AfD currently would be the second most important power factor in Germany, while the CDU-CSU, which is still a mid and right-wing representative, is number one. So both together, they very likely will find their way. All other parties are diminished. They only become, if they are lucky, a third partner, but again, the first two don't need. They already have some majority. So by having crunched these numbers and give every party their consideration, the power structure will change significantly. Again, by having the bird view, look at the trend, the blue and the black. Blue representing the newcomer will be in charge. So by looking at the current events that are still going on in Germany, and all these reports about events and what's happening and blocking streets, and firemen are applauding farmers who light up a fire which they normally should be extinguished, we have a common understanding that enough is enough and change is imminent. It cannot go on this way. And keep in mind, farmers are all entrepreneurs. So they are not part of a union. They are not part of a union membership. They are not employees. These are all entrepreneurs who have to crunch the numbers to generate a profit based on their work. So it does represent the entrepreneurship in Germany. So just some other changes that will become handy as this party becomes a power factor. One more thing to mention, they promote that Germans will have a right to own and carry weapons to defend themselves. Also, in regards to information technology, they regard the end-to-end encryption as a constitutional right. So they will put it as a constitutional right that everyone can end-to-end encrypt their data. And nothing can be there further accepted that will hinder every German to end-to-end encrypt his communication. This is significant because the current rule is different. The European Union, as well as Germany, and as we all know, also here in the US, leave chat and text messaging as a subject for being always open for law enforcement or secret service. They will change this and make it a constitutional right to end-to-end encrypt your data. Your data privacy will get a boost. And of course, if this is being done, it will have a significant change for the IT industry globally. Because if you do that, then you also have to take care, and they put it in their program as well, very, very clear that everything the government or public institution do with data of German citizens is subject of foreign operating systems and foreign software. That means by vendors that are not located in Germany, where they give the computers and they give the software. Because of that, these vendors demand the right to go, and they do this whenever the need is, to patch the systems, to patch computers, to patch operating systems. So resulting in security at the disposition of companies who act on other principles than taking data privacy seriously. And we know it all, it's breached all the time. Because of that, the access to computer systems where the public services and the government is handling data from German citizens will have different vendors. Because the user have no say what an actual patch is doing, they have no control mechanism, they're just victim of these companies decide they have to change and they have to look at. The only changes to get domestic companies taking over this. And of course, this will end the secret service of Germany to access the data as well as other, and it will end the criminals can easily go into data by hooking on the patch and having an organization excuse themselves and say, we are so sorry, but we inform you. This will end because now we can follow up and punish these companies who would then be on German soil. So this as a side effect will have significant changes about the current hardware and software landscape in regards to security. So let's come back where everything started. Farmers are demonstrating for enough is enough. The political party representing this, promising we do that as a program, and of course we'll use that movement to publish their agenda, and their agenda is good. The next slide is telling you again how serious are the numbers we present, how representative are these numbers. Is easily to justify. The 12 organizations that you see here that have been participating in at least the last 6 elections and got their reputation by being precise what actually happened, have an error margin from 0.1 to 3.1%. So even in the case of a large error margin, the numbers we were looking at are still can be considered as significant and serious. So predicting the day after tomorrow is then really not rocket science. It is just watching the game. And finally, this is depicted in this picture. It's a result of an artificial intelligence painting by feeding in all the numbers we just told you. The artificial intelligence painted this picture means you see gold. In the program of the AfD is also written very clearly that all gold reserves Germany has to come back to be physically existing on German soil. And of course, as we know, these gold reserves are currently on a different place. And we know where that is. So by physically moving back German gold reserves on German soil, the Wall Street will also have a wake up. So that is what artificial intelligence painted by feeding all these numbers that we just presented to you. You see the people in blue are representing the AfD, poking on a lot of gold, which means can be considered as a true statement, because the AfD stated very clearly gold reserves have to be physically replaced from where they are onto German soil. If this topic is of interest, because this is a developing story, sign up to this channel, subscribe. You can do this in 2 ways. Subscribe here at the platform of your choice, or go to VBIC.net and sign up for your membership, and we will push updates of this developing story so you don't miss them. Thank you for watching this. To the predictive analytics, informing you about the day after tomorrow, so you can prepare what's happening tomorrow today. Thank you for watching us, and see you soon.